The whole table went silent when my mother-in-law picked up my hand, looked at my wedding ring, and laughed. "Oh, sweetie," she said, loud enough for the whole restaurant to hear. "Did Daniel propose with a gumball machine ring?" Everyone laughed. My husband laughed too. That's the part that still stings. My name is Priya, and 3 years ago, I married a man named Daniel, whose family made it very clear from day one that I wasn't what they expected. Not the right background, not the right last name, not apparently the right ring. I grew up with a single mother who worked 2 jobs so I could go to nursing school. When Daniel proposed, he gave me his late grandmother's ring, a small, simple antique band with a modest stone. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't from a glossy showcase window. But it had history and it had love in it, and that was enough for me. His mother, Carol, never saw it that way. To her, that ring was proof that her son had settled. At every family dinner, she found a new way to bring it up. "Is that real gold or gold colored?" she'd ask, smiling like she was joking. She wasn't joking. If you've ever sat at a table smiling while someone quietly tore you apart, hit like right now. You already know exactly how this felt. Daniel always told me afterward, "She doesn't mean it like that, just ignore her." But I noticed he never once told her to stop. 3 years of biting my tongue at Thanksgiving, at birthdays, at Sunday dinners, while Carol dropped comments about real diamonds and family rings that actually mean something, always glancing at my hand when she said it. Then came Daniel's sister's engagement party. His sister, Melissa, showed off a ring so big it looked like it needed its own insurance policy. Carol grabbed the microphone during the toast, uninvited, and said, "Now, this is what a real proposal looks like. Some of us just got lucky with better taste in men." She looked directly at me when she said it. The whole room turned to look at me too. I felt my face burn. Daniel just stared at his plate. That night, I didn't cry. I got angry, and when I get angry, I get resourceful. I remembered something Daniel had mentioned once, almost in passing, that his grandmother, the woman who originally owned my ring, used to work for a jeweler decades ago and was known for collecting odd pieces nobody wanted. Nobody in the family had ever bothered getting the ring appraised. To them, it was worthless simply because it looked old and small. So I made an appointment with a certified gemologist downtown, a woman named Renata, who'd been in the business for over 20 years. If you love a good twist coming from someone who was underestimated, subscribe now, because this story is about to change direction fast. Renata took one look at the ring under her loupe and went very quiet. Then she asked me to sit down. "Where did you get this?" she asked. I explained. "A family heirloom, nothing special, just sentimental." She shook her head slowly. "This isn't just old, this is a hand-cut Edwardian setting, and this center stone isn't a standard diamond cut. It's an antique cushion cut, natural, no treatments." She pulled out her equipment, ran further tests, made a few calls to verify provenance markings on the inside of the band. 20 minutes later, she looked up at me with an expression I'll never forget. "Priya, this ring is appraised at just under $92,000. I actually laughed, thinking she misspoke. She didn't. I sat in my car outside that jewelry shop for almost 30 minutes, just staring at my hand. Every gumball machine comment, every smirk. Every moment Carol made me feel small at a table I paid for as much as anyone. All of it replayed in my mind. I didn't tell Daniel right away. I wanted to see this through properly. The next family dinner, Carol started up again, this time in front of extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins. "So when's Daniel getting you a real ring, sweetheart? No offense, but that thing looks like a flea market find." The table chuckled the way it always did, except this time I set my phone down on the table, screen up showing the official appraisal certificate with Renata's signature and letterhead. "Actually, Carol," I said calmly, "it's appraised at $92,000. It belonged to Daniel's grandmother. Apparently she had incredible taste and knew real value when she saw it, even when other people didn't." You could hear a fork hit a plate. Carol's face went through about 4 different colors. Melissa actually picked up my phone to read the certificate herself. mouth slightly open. Daniel's father just started laughing, really laughing, and said, "Well, Carol, guess Mom fooled all of us." If watching someone get exactly the reality check they deserved feels satisfying, go ahead and like this video. You know this moment was a long time coming. Here's the twist that made it even sweeter. Renata mentioned that pieces like mine, true untreated antique stones with documented provenance, are becoming increasingly rare and increasingly valuable precisely because nobody makes them like that anymore. Melissa's giant modern ring, appraised separately out of curiosity a week later at a family member's suggestion, came in at about $11,000. Beautiful ring. Just not what Carol had spent 3 years implying it was compared to mine. Carol didn't apologize that night. She barely spoke for the rest of dinner, but something shifted after that. The comments stopped completely, not because she suddenly respected me, Ada. I don't think people like Carol change that easily, but because she'd lost her only weapon. She couldn't call my ring cheap anymore. Everyone at that table now knew the truth, and truth, once it's out, is very hard to take back. Daniel apologized to me later that night, really apologized for the first time in 3 years. He said watching his mother's face change taught him something about how long he'd let this go on. We're doing better now. He speaks up when it matters, and honestly, that mattered more to me than the appraisal ever did. So here's what I want to leave you with. Sometimes the things people mock you for are the very things they don't understand. Sometimes staying quiet and doing your research is more powerful than any argument at a dinner table. If this story resonated with you, tell me in the comments. Have you ever had someone underestimate something that turned out to be worth more than they ever imagined? Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next story, and I'll see you in the next one.